Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I wanted to share how I cut out the images that I've already stamped and colored. All of these images have been embossed previously, and I'll share with you what stamp sets all of these images come from. But what I normally do is just stamp a bunch of things out and color them all at once so that when I'm ready to use them, I have a bunch available. Here's the mat that I use with my Brother Scan and Cut. And I do use washi to put my images down because my mat does need to be resticked. This is just how I start up my machine. I will adjust the little screen on the side so you can see what I'm doing over there, but all I'm doing is just starting up my machine. I also wanted to use this video to share a Besties tag that I was tagged in by Cindy Rez, and the start of this tag was Darice Decor, and I will link both of their channels in this video. And it's just a bunch of questions that I'll answer while I'm going through this demonstration on my Brother Scan and Cut. If you have any questions, please make sure to leave them down below. I'm fairly new at doing this, but I like to primarily use my Brother Scan and Cut to cut out images that I've already colored and embossed, and just to have some on hand so when I'm ready to make something, I already have the images cut out. And I'll also share with you how I store those images at the end of this video. I have this two-way glue here, and this is what you would use if you wanted to restick your mat. So as I was saying, I just use washi tape to tape down my images. I've adjusted this screen over here, and now you can see how I'm changing the color settings. I do use the black and white settings because it seems to recognize the images more than when I have it in the color setting. The first thing I do is always check my blade to make sure it's at least on a 8 or a 9, because the paper that I'm using is the Spectrum Noir. This is that alcohol paper, and it's a little thicker than the regular cardstock. So all I'm going to do is load my mat up, and I'm just going to do a direct cut. I will zoom in on the little screen over there so you can kind of. So I'm just loading my mat up, and it's going to scan the images. I hit start, then it'll scan it in, and in the black and white mode, it'll come back out to where you have to zoom into the images. And what I normally do is I'll zoom in, and then I'll go and take anything out that I don't want to be cut, and I'll show you how to use that delete function as well. So it just has to recognize the images, and then there are all the images that are going to be cut, and all of the images are surrounded by a line. So the best way to do this is how I do it is I zoom in on the images. That way it could recognize them just a little bit more. So I'm just trying to get it positioned so you can see that little screen a little better without so much glare. So there I am, just zooming in on the images, and then once it recognizes it again, I'll hit the preview button, and then I'll go in and select the 0.4 border that I want around my images. It's processing all of that, and then I'll go in and put a little square around all of the things that I don't want cut out. Maybe it's not cutting the full picture, or sometimes it'll cut out part of the images to where it does not recognize the image. And so instead of cutting those things out halfway and messing up the image, I just delete the full image, delete any stray marks that I have on the page that it's going to cut out as well. And then I just go ahead and preview again and cut, and then I'll hit start. So I'll zoom back out, so I'll hit start, and then it'll start cutting, and it takes about 3 to 4 minutes to cut. So I'll go ahead and go over the questions that are in this tag. And as I was saying, this tag was started by Darice Decor, and it's called the Besties tag. The questions are, What age did I start crafting? I didn't start crafting until 2017, so I've only been crafting for about a year and a half now. My favorite crafting style is clean and simple. The favorite things that I love to craft, I love tags and I love boxes and bags. The next question is, what's my favorite craft store? And as you all probably already know, I don't have one. I go to all the craft stores. I love them all equally. I don't have like favorite brands or things that I gravitate to. I just mainly buy what I like. For my crafting inspiration, I really don't have like a go-to person. I watch a lot of different crafters. I watch makeup artists. I watch people that decorate and do DIYs. I watch a lot of haul videos, and everyone has some kind of niche or something that I can take something from and use it in my project. So that's what I try to do. So as far as my inspiration, there's just a lot of things. Sometimes I see paintings, there's stuff in my environment. I do watch Pinterest, or do follow some things on Pinterest that I get my inspiration from, but I do have to say that I get a lot of inspiration from a lot of different areas, and I try not to box myself in. I kind of use what Gift Basket Appeal calls like the mindless crafting. So I'll just turn the music up for the rest of this video until I'm ready to show the next part. Well, I'll also share with you how to save images to a USB so that you can transfer them and edit them in the design space. Right here, I'm just showing that the Brother Scan and Cut does have the capability to be Wi-Fi. Now it's all done cutting. I'm finished. I'll just go back to the home page and I'll show you how the individual images look with the borders on them once they're cut out. I'll unload the mat and I'll just pull the paper off from around the images. And my mat is pretty sticky. It'll hold the images down. So I have this little spatula that I use to pick up the images. And there I'm just showing you the two images that I didn't cut out, that I used that little delete function because it was maybe cutting them in half. So here's my little spatula, and that's what I use to pick my images up off of the mat so I don't rip them. The borders come out really good on the images, and I use a 0.04. I got that tip from Rosa, who is Rosa's Creative Way here on YouTube. I learned how to actually use my Brother Scan and Cut last year by watching Rosa's tutorial, and I'll leave a link to that video down below because she has several on how to do certain things on the Brother Scan and Cut. So I'm just showing you a few more of the images, and then I'll just pick up the rest of them. So now I want to show how I save my stamped images to a USB drive to transfer them to my computer so I can edit on my Cameo. So you select the button in the center that says Scan to Cut Data, and then you hit start and it'll scan the images in like it does when you do a direct cut. The images will be recognized. I'll just do a preview. It'll process that. Then I'll try to hit save, and it's going to give me an error because there's too many images on the sheet, so I'll have to zoom in and do a few at a time. There's the error message. So what I'll do is I'll just use my arrows and I'll zoom in on a few of the images for it to scan and save to the USB. I'll hit preview again. It'll process those, and then I'll try to hit save. I don't have my USB in, it's to the right side of the machine. That symbol is for saving to the USB. So I'll go get my USB, and it's just one little thumb drive that I've had for years, and I just use this to transfer data from my scan and cut to my computer to use on my Silhouette Cameo design space. So here are the images that I cut in the video. This is an Easter stamp from Lawn Fawn, and it's called Happy Easter. And then on that sheet there was some pieces that I selected to delete to keep it from cutting, because it was cutting out each individual flower and I didn't like the way it was cutting some of them off, so that was what I was deleting out of that last little piece that I was cutting out. The next one was this one with the little gnomes and the mushrooms and the flowers, and that's also a Lawn Fawn stamp. Looks like this, and this is called Old Gnome. And I do have like a mushroom house die that goes with this, along with like a grass border, and I think it's a mushroom border as well. And then the other one I cut out is from this Darice's home Heart and Home stamp. This one is called Catch Up Soon, and I just did the relish and the one that says what's the dealio, and I truly relish our friendship. For the sentiments, I just cut those off because I didn't want to do the circles, because it would do the circles on everything on the page. So I'll just maybe die cut those later, but here are the images that I cut from that stamp. And then the last one that I cut was this owls. I think they all came out really good. And this is a pink and Maine stamp, and this is called What a Hoot. I do have the coordinating dies, but because I had stamped it on another page, I just went ahead and cut it out on my brother's scan and cut. And the bags that I store them in are these Darice. This is the dimensions for the bags. I know these are a little big, but I do have some larger cuts that I put in these bags, so I just put them all in the same size bags. I get these from Joann's. Here are some other ones that I've done. There's some dinosaurs that I got off of my Cameo, and also these little dinosaurs that I colored using a Lawn Fawn stamp. Here's some. I used some of these during Valentine's. I had some cards for that. Most of these are off my Silhouette. There's some Christmas ones, and I usually store them by occasion. Here's some little cars, Beatles cars that I never used. Here's some of the sending blessings. This is the angel that I used during Christmas. Here's some of the Valentine's ones that I use on my cards for Valentine's Day. Here's some fall cutouts that I can, use all year for fall. Here's those thank yous that I created some cards with, a start to finish. Here's some bunnies that I've already cut out to use for Easter. Some more little Valentine's ones. These are some girls that I did an order for, some of those cards. Some birthday ones. Here's some Dallas Cowboy ones. I had created my husband a card, but I never shared this on my YouTube. I think I shared it on my Instagram, but this is the card. His birthday is in February, and I got this and this background. The background stars was a digital paper, and this was just something I found on the internet, and this came off my silhouette. That's just a die cut. That's the back, and I did right on the inside of that, of course. He let me keep the card. And then here's some more stamped images that I cut out. And that's all I have for this video. If you have any questions, please leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much, Cindy, for tagging me. I'll be tagging Gina, who is Gina Loves to Craft, and also Cruising with Crystal, because those two ladies are always so upbeat, inspiring, and they support so many people here on YouTube. So Gina and Crystal, I hope you're ready to play. Thank you all so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.